everybody, this is Heather Sides. I'm just trying to get my camera here adjusted here so we can get started. Bear with me while I kind of play with it on my computer, make sure we're facing the right direction. I do sometimes tend to start upside down, as you know, so we want to make sure that's not the case this week. It looks like I'm right side up, and I do have my computer on mute, so you don't have to hear me in stereo. So let's see here. I think we are just about ready. We've got a minute or two before the top of the hour, so we'll just kind of wait, give people a little bit of time to get here. In the meantime, let's see, I'll tell you about my week. Last weekend, my husband ran a half marathon. He's a runner, and he's actually getting ready for another marathon. He did one last year, and he's getting ready for another one. So this was a training run for him. I get exhausted driving 13 miles, and he runs 13 miles. That's kind of his thing. But anyway, so he had a race last weekend here in town. By the way, I don't think I introduced myself. I'm Heather Sides. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Spokane, Washington. So anyway, there was a race here in Spokane, and he did that, and I was so proud of him. There were 251 people registered in the race. He got 30th overall and came in third for his age group, gender and age group. So I was really proud of him, and he of course was proud of himself too, and he should be. So that happened, and now there's a race they do here in Spokane that's kind of a big deal called Wednesday. You may or may not have heard of it. It's been going on for like 40 years, 45 years, something like that. And so that's coming up the 1st of May, and it's about 7.5 miles long, I think. He's going to do that one, and then it's just pure training from then until his marathon at the end of June. That one's in Montana, so we'll have a little trip to Montana planned. Still deciding if the puppy is going with us or if we're going to get a sitter and kind of sneak away without him, so we'll see. Speaking of the puppy, you may be able to hear him. Right now, my husband hasn't come home from work yet, and Jackson, my son, is downstairs taking a nap, so I didn't want to leave him unsupervised. And last week, I let him be in here with me, and about 2/3 of the way through the video, he started kind of making noises and acting like he might need to go outside, and I didn't have anybody here to take him, so that made me a little nervous. So this week I decided it was best for everyone if I went ahead and put him in his crate, which is his bed, put him in his crate while I do my video with you guys. And so he's out there howling because of course he thinks he's going to die of loneliness in his crate. And so if you hear that, I apologize. So I'm going to go ahead at this point. It looks like we've got a couple people on, so I'm going to get started. I'm going to turn the camera around. We're going to award the prize for last week's drawing. Remember, I've started doing drawings for everybody who comments. I want to encourage commenting, whether you're talking to one another, whether you are asking me questions or talking to me. I just like to see you engaging. And that applies both in this live video here on Facebook, or if you are watching it on a replay, whether here on Facebook or on YouTube. Leave me a comment, and then the afternoon of the next live, which would be next Wednesday, I go through and I gather up all the names of everybody who made some comments of some sort, and then and it can be simple. It can just be, hey Heather, or watching from South Dakota, or whatever. I go through and I pull up all those names, and then I put them into a random shuffler on the computer, and it draws a name for me and tells me who wins that week's prize. So what I'm doing, just to be clear, is the prize I'm giving out this week is for last week's video. So make sure you make lots of comments tonight, and if you watch the replay of this one, again, on YouTube or Facebook, because then you will be entered into the drawing that I will be doing next week and awarding the prize during next week's live. Make sense? So let's turn this camera around and we will get going on some of that fun stuff, and then I have some great cards for you guys. I'm really excited to share them. So here we go. Bear with me while I adjust the camera a little bit here. And it looks like I might have this upside down. So let's see here. It looks really fuzzy right now. That's so weird. I think I pushed a button that made it do the other camera, and that's kind of odd. I didn't mean to do that. Hey Carla, it's nice to see you. Welcome. Hi Joan, welcome. Okay, so bear with me. We're having, technical difficulties because that's what I do. There we go. Okay, you guys, I've learned how to turn my camera around. How exciting is that? Except, nope, I'm going right side up. That's so weird. Am I right side up? Nope. Let's turn this way. You guys might think that I have absolutely no computer skills whatsoever, and you would be right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to give out our prize from last week. This is a set of our ombre gift bags. These are retiring at the end of the month. So let me open them and I'll kind of show you. They come in all 5 of our in colors that are the 2021 to 2023 colors. So these colors will be around for another year, but the bags will not be. So there's lots of fun stuff you can do. I've seen people make cards with them, just use them as treat bags, any of those things. So, and they're cheap. They're like $6. I think you get 20 of them or something like that. So they're a great deal to get. Hey Kim, welcome. Okay, so Kathy Zaramba, she is our winner this week. And Kathy, I believe I have your address, so I will pop these in the mail. Hey Talina, welcome. But I'm going to pop these in the mail to you, Kathy. If I don't have your address, I do know how to get a hold of you, and I will contact you and let you know. So I'll set these aside. Also, just a reminder that our catalog does retire. Our annual catalog is retiring at the end of the month. And when we do that, we put out a list of all of the items in the catalog that are retiring. And some of them are at a great discount. For example, this the Dragonfly Garden Bundle. You probably can't read this, but this Dragonfly Garden, I'm sorry, not the bundle, but the Garden Wishes Cling Stamp Set is 40% off, and you can get it for $13.20. So not everything is on sale, but a lot of items are, and there's some pretty good discounts here. So if you want to take a peek at this list and see what's being retired and what's on sale, you can do that on my website at heathersides.stampinup.net. And you have until May 2nd to order these items. Once they're gone, they're gone. If they go out of stock, they're gone. They won't be restocked. And if we hit that period of May 2nd, then they're gone because they're now retired. So definitely something you want to take advantage of. Just a little teaser here, our annual catalog, the new one that goes live on May 3rd. There's lots of fun stuff in here, and I can't wait to show you. But I'm not allowed to show you the inside of the catalog yet. If you need a new annual catalog or one of our mini catalogs, please let me know. Send me, you can send me a private message. You can send me an email, any of those things. Let me know you need a catalog. Give me your address in case I don't have it, and I would be happy to send one to you free of cost. So there is that. So I think we are ready to get stamping. Is everybody ready? Okay, let's see here. The first card I think we're going to do tonight is using our Hey Birthday Chick bundle. And it's got these great stamps. I love these stamps. Hey Tracy, welcome. I love these chickens. Like, I love this little fat one. I just think she is adorable. And I love the one with the hair because I just think that's funny. And then it's got these great dies that go with it. This bundle is being retired, and each of the individual pieces are being retired as well. So if you like what you see and you want to get this, now is the time to do it. Okay, Kim says she's ready, so let's get going. I'm also using my layering circles dies. These are not being retired, but you know me, I use them all the time. I love them. So let me show you the card we're going to make. Just this cute little one with the chicken with the green hair. Pretty simple to do. There's the inside with the little dancing chick. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do is decorate our envelope so that it's got some time for the glue to dry while we make our card. Bring my glue over here. My glue is starting to run out, I think. So it's coming out pretty good though. So what is everybody up to this week? Anybody doing anything exciting? I talked to Kim this morning. I know you were working on your taxes, and yeah, it doesn't get a whole lot more exciting than that, does it? What's everybody else doing? Put a little glue on here. Okay. Where did I put? Oh, there it is. Oh, we're not off to a good start if I'm already losing stuff, you guys. Okay, so put it on there. I want to make sure it's straight. This designer series paper, by the way, comes from the Pattern Party designer series paper pack. That is so many P's. And it is a host only pack. You can earn it by hosting a party where the sales come to $150 or more, or just placing an order of that size. And we don't judge here. So if you place an order that size, we don't judge, nor do we tell your husbands. This is an awesome pack of paper, and it comes with like 48 12 by 12 sheets. One side is all different black and white patterns, and then the other side is just all sorts of fun, colorful patterns. And I am going to miss this pack because I really enjoyed using it. Trim this up just a little bit. Okay, now I'll set that aside so it can dry and we can get going on our card. Okay, so now we start with our card base. It's a half a sheet of cardstock. Welcome, Nell. Okay, so Tracy says she's kept catching up on her crafting projects. Oh, good for you, Tracy. Okay, so just a half a sheet of our So Saffron cardstock, and it is cut at, it's 8.5 by 5.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece, this is Pool Party, and I'm just going to go ahead and adhere it to our card base. Do this one piece at a time, right? Sounds like my husband got home and he's probably getting ready to go for his run, which means he's not letting the dog out of its crate, which is totally fine, except that the dog seems to be taking that personally. Okay, so got that on there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece, which is again just 1/4 of an inch smaller than the Pool Party piece. Another lots of P's there again in that sentence. And I'm going to take my mini cutting and embossing machine, which does fit a good majority of our dies. Folds up to a nice compact piece, and then you fold it out like this, and it's nice and small so it can sit on your desk. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to grab one of my circles, and you could really use any size circle you want. It really doesn't matter. I think this one might be the size I used, so let me test drive it here. It is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to, oh, I don't know if this is going to fit. Ooh, barely, but it's going to work. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I am going to, this is kind of making me nervous, like it may not work all the way. Well, let's give it a try. Okay, so I'm putting my circle right here like this. So it's going, oh, you know what? I do need my big one because there won't be room for that to go off the edge. So let me grab my big one. Hang on just a second. The machine fit the die, but it did not fit the weird things that I'm trying to accomplish by going off the edge. Okay, this is much better. So we've got our designer series paper. It looks like you cannot see the end I'm doing here. Now you might be able to. Okay, so I'm putting the circle here like this so it goes off the edge. There's no real precise positioning there. I just wanted it kind of toward the bottom and off to the side a little bit. Now I will feed it through. Sorry about the wiggles. And now we have this little piece that we cut out. We're going to save this because we're going to use this on the inside of the card. And then we have the front piece where it's just kind of taken a little bite out of our piece of paper there. Trying to put stuff away as I go and, you know, make a bigger mess than I've already got going on. Okay. Oh, Talina, that's nice. Talina says that she and her husband Eric are playing word games with my host code. I'm going to talk about the host code a little later on. But good for you. That's kind of fun, actually. And I can imagine looking at that and knowing you guys the way I do, I think I know the first word you guys came up with. Okay, so I'm putting a little bit of adhesive in these kind of small spots, like right there, just because I want to make sure that it does stay down around that circle. And if it goes off, I don't know if you can see this, but it went off the edge of my paper, you just fold it back up. You could also use liquid glue, and then you have a little more control there as well. It's totally up to you what works best for you. Now I'm going to line this up right here, kind of make sure my margins are relatively similar. It's kind of crooked. Lift this up quickly. If you don't push it down too hard when you first lay it down, it'll allow you to lift it back up without really damaging the paper, but you've got to be very careful. Okay, so there is our card base. Now what we're going to do is I've got a couple of scraps here, and I also have this little banner that we're going to use to to stamp our sentiment. So let's grab the inks we're going to need. We're going to need our black memento ink. Hey Robin, welcome. And we're also using the pool party ink. And then we're also going to use a bunch of our Stampin' Blend markers to color it in, but it'll go pretty fast. So let's move these out of the way. Open up that black ink pad. Now, first, got our hairy chicken here. I love the hairy chicken. Okay. Okay. There we go. So there's our first little chicken. Let's go ahead and clean out the stamp set, or the stamp. What did I say, Robin, that I said seam and it's questionable? Because I do say questionable things. I'm not denying that at all. Okay, so then the other stamp we're going to use is this cute little chick, the little dancing chick. Ooh, that one looks kind of weird. Let's do it on the other side. We have that magical two-sided paper. That's a little better, I guess. Okay, so clean off this stamp now. Oh, you guessed the word seam. Oh, that's a good one. But if you know Talina and Eric, yeah, that's probably not the word they came up with. Okay. All right, let's see here. Let's put the ink pad away before I do something dangerous with it. And somewhere, there it is, we have our Pool Party ink pad. Okay, now I'm going to use this little stamp that just says Happy Birthday. It's also from the same Happy Birthday Chick stamp set, and I'm just stamping the message right here in the middle of my little strip. It might be crooked. There it is. So let's try the other side. Let's see if I can do this. It's a little harder to do when the camera is over it. Okay, that's okay. My poor dog is going crazy out there. I think, like I said, I think he thinks he's going to die of loneliness. He is a little stinker, you guys. He's so darn cute, and it's a good thing because he's naughty. He's really, really naughty. Yeah, he gets into everything, and he likes to eat everything. And, you know, he hasn't been a chewer too bad. He hasn't been too bad of a chewer, like chewing on furniture or anything like that. But he likes to steal things like socks. And today he stole a big section off of my husband's plant. Did I like your stringy eggs? Robin just asked if I liked your stringy eggs. What's stringy eggs? Okay, so next I'm going to go ahead and use, this is one of my favorite punches. You guys see me use it a lot. And I'm just going to slide it in here. Let's see here. Let's check it to make sure it's straight, which it is not. Okay, let's do the other end too. Okay, I'm going to have to look and see your stringy eggs when this is over. Oh, yes, I did. I know what you're talking about now. The eggs that you use the baker's twine to make them. Yes, I love those. Those were very, very cool. Okay, so I have our little happy birthday tag. I'm going to put just a little bit of adhesive. This is my seal adhesive, my go-to that I use for most stuff just because it is faster. Let's see here. I want to make sure this is centered. I don't think it's quite centered. Let's try it one more time, but I'm not gonna spend a ton of time trying to make it centered. My dad's birthday's on Sunday. Maybe I'll give him this card. Okay, so there we go. There's that little piece. Put my punch out of the way. Now we have our little chick and our chicken. So let's do some coloring. So I started with my dark pool party and coloring her hair. And you can see while I'm getting all of her hair, I'm not really, going super slow to make sure I get all the lines and all that. Just color it in. Now the blender pens, if you haven't used them before, are great for shading and that kind of thing. I'm not doing a whole lot of shading tonight. Okay, so now we've got those tail feathers. Okay, now we're going to use the So Saffron. I've got dark and light, so let's start with the dark one. And I like to go kind of around the outer edge. If I go in like this, overlapping that pool party, it's going to blend them in. You can see how it's already starting to make them look a little bit blended. Color my wing a little bit. Do a little bit outer edge of her face. Now I'm going to take the lighter one. I'm going to come in with that, and I'm going to kind of pull that color in, pull in that darker. So it is getting shaded a little bit. I'm just not dedicating a whole lot of time or effort into it because it's just kind of a fun, cartoony looking chicken anyway. Okay, whoops, let's finish off her face there. Okay. I want to do this a little bit more so that line from the dark isn't quite so obvious. Now I have the light pumpkin pie, and I'm going to, whoops, let's get the other tip here. I'm going to use the light pumpkin pie to color her legs and feet and her beak. Okay, let's see here. let's see, now I'm going to take my dark petal pink and I'm going to color, oh, you know what I forgot to do? First, I'm going to take my dark So Saffron and color my candle. Now I'm going to take my dark petal pink and I'm coloring in my cupcake, the top. And I'm going to take the dark Pool Party again and color the little, what do they call those? The little cupcake, I know what they're called, I just can't think of it. The little cupcake holder things. Okay, now let's color our baby chick. We're going to use kind of the same colors. I'm going to use the light pumpkin pie, whoops, but I'm going to use the right end of it to do his little legs. And his beak. Oh, I didn't do the chicken's beak. There we go. And I'm using my dark Pool Party to color his hat and the little fuzzy ball thing at the top of his hat. And now we'll do his body. Bring in a little bit of the light. There's not a whole lot of room for it here. There we go. Now, our chicken here, I've got a die for that, and we're going to cut it with the cutting and embossing machine. But the chick, we need to fussy cut. So, I'm just going to do this very quickly. Does anybody out there like fussy cutting? I used to absolutely hate doing it because I wasn't very good at it, and you know, practice makes perfect, and I wouldn't say I'm perfect at it, but it comes a lot easier to me now. So don't be afraid of fussy cutting. Just know that it may take you a while for it to kind of click with you what you need to do, so it doesn't look super choppy. Tracy says she hates fussy cutting. I will say, if I've got a die, I would much rather die cut it than fussy cut it. But if that's not an option, I'm okay fussy cutting. And that was not the case even a year ago. Okay, I'm getting a little close to my little chick here. I've said this before, the trick is moving the paper, not the scissors. Now there's a couple little pointy parts here, so I'm going to just cut them off there. Tell us how you really feel, Talina. Talina does not like fussy cutting. Nope, not at all. Okay, so we'll set our little baby chick aside for a moment. And let's get our cutting and embossing machine again. Again, this would have worked with the little one, the mini, but I put that one away when I was having the issues earlier, so we'll use the big one again. So the first thing I'm going to do is find the die. And we're going to set it on there. And I have a little bit of, this is Post-it note tape. And I am going to, as you can see, it's a brand new package. But I'm going to use a little bit of it to hold down my die so that it stays in place. When you are doing a very detailed die like this one, you don't want, or a very detailed image like this, you don't want that die wiggling all over the place. So hopefully we can call that good. Let's put the other plate on. What did I do with the other plate? Oh, right here. You guys, I'm out of control again. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and feed it through. Hey Jason, welcome. Okay, let's see here. Now, Jason finds fussy cutting relaxing. You know, I've heard a lot of people say that. I don't know that I would say it relaxes me, but it doesn't stress me out like it used to. Okay, so we have our cute little chicken with her pool party hair. Ta-da! There she is. And I do seem to have lost my little baby chick. This is not good, folks. We lost the baby chick. He went for a walk. Ah, woe is me. Well, hopefully he'll show up in a moment or so here. Let's put the dies away. And I can reuse this sticky note tape, so I'm just going to stick it on my machine for the next time I need it. Okay, do a quick look here and see. Oh, it was under my cutting and embossing machine. I found the baby, everybody. I found the baby. We're all okay. Now, I need a piece for the inside, and it looks like I forgot to cut that, so I'll do that very quickly because now we're at a point we just need to piece it all together. Okay, bear with me. This will just take a moment. There always seems to be something I forgot to cut, right? Okay, so we're going to take this piece. Yeah, Jason just said, he said check under the machine. Doesn't it seem like that's always where we find stuff, is under the machines that we use? Okay, so this is the piece that we cut out of the front. Let me grab it again. See, it was right there. What we're going to do is we're going to glue it in about the same spot. But again, it doesn't matter if it's really precise. Just stick it on there. And I'm lining it up along the edge so that it looks like it goes off the edge, just like the front of the card does. And we have our cute little baby chick. I'm going to use the liquid glue here just because it's so tiny and it's easier to get in these tiny little nooks and crannies with the liquid glue. And let's see, let's put him right here. I want him doing a high kick. There. Let's go ahead and glue that to the inside of our card. Okay. All right, so the inside's done. Let's put our chicken and our banner on there, and then we've got a few embellishments, and we'll call it good. So I put her on there using some of our mini Stampin' Dimensionals. Actually, I probably could use a full-size one on her body. I do like to use up the edges. Remember, the edges of your dimensionals are dimensionals too. So make sure you use up those pieces and don't just throw them away. You can just cut them with a pair of scissors. Okay, now I want to put that piece like right there. Then I have one more that we'll put on her little body. Okay, let's see. How about like that? And then I'll take my mini dimensionals that, of course, I had a minute ago. Oh, they're right there. Oh, you guys, it's been a long day. Okay, so I'm going to put a few of my little minis on here. You know me, I like to put a lot of dimensionals on. If it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing. Okay, so I'm just going to take the backs off here. If you're not familiar with our dimensionals, they are little pieces of foam that you can use to kind of pop up your image. So I'm going to put her right here. Ta-da! And then we're going to go ahead and put the banner on, and we're going to pop that up as well. Whoops. I'm using up some edges here. Hi, Yvette. Welcome. I want to remind everybody about the weekly drawing. The way you get entered in the drawing is to participate in conversation. It can be as simple as just saying hello, or you can converse with some of the other people who are in here watching the video, like you, or just ask me questions if you have questions or anything like that. Any kind of comment will qualify you. And if you are watching the replay, either here on Facebook or on YouTube, then those comments still count, because I wait to draw the names until just before my video next Wednesday, so that everybody gets a chance. Okay, so now I'm going to take, these are the Playing with Patterns resin dots. These are going to retire in June when the mini catalog retires. And I'm going to put a few of these little dots. I felt like it just needed a little something to give it a little more texture. That banner was just like a little bit too stark white for me. Oops. I want to move this guy over just a little bit. There we go. Let's put a couple down below as well. Just to kind of draw it all the way through the card. And there we go. Let's put this away. Got our envelope, and ta-da, there's our card. And there's the inside. And this, like I said, just might be my dad's birthday card. Okay, so let's move on to card number 2. Card number 2, I am using Lighthearted Lines, which is being retired. And then I'm also using the Hippo and Friends dies. Both the dies and the stamp set are also being retired, but I'm just not using the stamp set on this particular card. This is a great set of dies, even if you don't get the stamp set, because there's so many nice like frames that you can use, and they're layered, and they really are nice. So let's take a peek at the card first. Move those out of the way. And this is our card. I love cards that are black and white with a pop-up color, and in this case I went with red so that I could use that, I think it's called Playful Pals, let me grab it, Playful Pets Trim Combo Pack, and you can see you get a black and white kind of twisted, and then you also get this red and white one that almost looks like seams, and it is, I believe it's on sale. So let's go ahead and, did I do anything fun with the inside? That's the inside, pretty simple. Okay, so let's get started with our envelope. Yeah, my dad is pretty good, Selena. Selena says my dad will love this card. And he's really good about doing all the appropriate oohs and ahs about my creative endeavors. And he, like most people who aren't creators like this, he probably doesn't get it really, but he does understand the necessity for the appropriate oohs and ahs. So, okay, I want to make sure this is on right. It's not quite all the way over. Okay. Now let's cut off the excess there. And with this card, I'm teaching you a technique called masking. And it's really simple technique, and you might even already know it. I know it's been around forever. So if you've been stamping for a while, like I said, you probably already know it. And let's go ahead and get started. We've got our card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the center. Oh, I didn't even score it. That's kind of funny. It's scored in the center. Should be anyway, at 4 1/4. Now I will take let's get some of this stuff out of the way. Okay, take my bone folder to do that crease. Okay. Talina loves black and white, and red is her favorite color. So, so this one's for you, Talina. Okay, I'm going to set that out of the way for the moment. Now I have a piece of basic black. You know what? Let's wait to do that. Let's do the inside first. And I've got a strip of basic black and a strip of the patterned designer series paper. I forgot to mention this also is from the Pattern Party Designer Series paper pack that I used on the last card. So let's put a little bit of glue on this strip here. I always like to put a little something in the card so it's not just a plain card on the inside. Oops, let's put this on the black strip. Whoops. I do like to use the liquid glue for this. For one, these are pretty narrow strips, so it's a little easier with the liquid glue. But the other thing is, too, it allows me a little bit of wiggle room if it's not straight or centered. I've got a little bit of time before it starts to really get tacky so that I can line it up better. Now we'll put the glue on this one. You can see I'm really not using a lot. This liquid Tombow glue is fantastic. It's fantastic for all sorts of projects, and a little really does go a very, very long way. As they used to say in my daughter's preschool class, ... not a lot. Did anybody else did their kids say that in preschool? ... not a lot. Okay, so that piece is ready. Let's go ahead and stick it on the inside. If you haven't had a chance to comment yet, make sure you do so that you can be entered in the drawing that I will be giving away the prize for next week. Okay, so there's the inside of our card, just like that. Now, I got two strips here. These are both from that same paper pack. And we're going to glue that onto the black piece. And I'm just going to, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use a little bit of tape and tape these together so that they're lined up the way I want them to be lined up. It makes it easier to make sure I center it on the black as well. So just a little bit of tear and tape. And oops. There we go. That looks like it's lined up okay. There, that just holds those pieces together. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and stick them on here. And I just have the 1 inch, this sheet is 1 inch smaller, or these strips, I'm sorry, let me start over. These strips are 1/8 of an inch smaller than the black piece, so I just have that tiny little 1/16 of an inch margin there. Nell says she loves black, white, and red. I really like pink is my color, and I like black, red, and a bright pink. But we didn't have this ribbon in pink, so here we are. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I've got my ribbon here, and I just want to kind of cover up where these two meet, like that. And I'm going to take a little bit of tear and tape again. Take 2 pieces, just little pieces. You don't need a lot. And I'm folding it over the back. Then I'll bring it right this way so that it lines up where I want it. There we go. So just like that. Then I have these two frames that I cut out using the Hippo and Friends dies. And this is where we're going to use our little technique. So I'm taking the stamp. I love this. Don't grow up, it's a trap. But I want those two different lines to be two different colors. So easy peasy, what I'm going to do is I'm just taking some Scotch tape. First I want to go ahead and do the top one. So I'm putting the tape, make sure you can see what I'm doing here, putting the tape over that bottom line. So I'm going to take my real red ink and get my black ink ready here. Tracy loves pink too. I'm a pink girl. Okay, now very important step. Remember to remove this tape or you will end up with a big blob of ink on your cardstock. So now I'm going to line that up so it's in the center. And see, it just did that top one where we got the ink. I'm going to clean it off. You want to clean it really well. Okay. Now I'm going to do just the opposite. I'm going to cover up the top one. Get my black ink. Take the tape off. Don't forget that. Okay, now I'm kind of looking at it to line it up. I want it to be roughly the same position as it was before. There we go. And that's how you do one stamp with two colors. Let's clean this off. Okay, so now I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive on here. Center it on the nesting frame. And now, whoops, I'm going to, how do I want to do this here? I'm putting some of my edges here on the back from my dimensionals. Let's see, whoops. Got everything sticking to stuff. One more, that'll fit. Okay, so now I'm just going to take the back off. Whoops. Let's see here. Because this ribbon is so fine, let me back up here. A lot of times with ribbon like this, you want to kind of straddle it with your dimensionals so that it doesn't make it kind of lopsided or whatever when you have the dimensional on top of the ribbon. In this case, it's so thin, it really isn't a problem that you have to worry about. So now I'm going to go ahead and put that on there, center it. Oh, I did an okay job of centering it left to right, but not so much up and down. There we go. Okay, now I have another little strip of this ribbon. I gave myself some extra so that I could tie a good bow. Give yourself the luxury of a little extra ribbon because it's so much easier to tie bows when you've got plenty of ribbon. Okay. Okay, that looks like it's about the right size. Now what I'll do is I'm going to use one of my glue dots to put it on there, and then I will trim the tails after it's on because then I'll have a good idea of, you know, what the length is and where I want to trim them. And I'm just putting it right up here in the center. Let's see here. There we go. It's a little lopsided there. Let's cut off just a little extra. Okay. Okay. So there is the front piece. Let's glue that down onto our card front. Okay. And there we go. There's a card number 2. Got the inside there and our matching envelope. And card number 2 is done. So let's clean up the mess here just a little bit and we'll get going on number 3. Number 3, I found this one on Pinterest and I really, really liked it. And I didn't even, sometimes when you case a card, you change things about it to make it more uniquely yours. But I loved it so much, I really didn't. And the name of the person who made this card, her name is Wilma DeCorte. Like I said, I found her on Pinterest. And so if you like this card, you may want to look her up and see what other cards she has designed. So this card uses the Sweet as a Peach stamp set and dies. So it's using the bundle, which is being retired at the end of the month. Let's go ahead and get started on our card. Okay. I really like this stamp set. I'm kind of sad that it's being retired because I've just seen so many pretty, adorable cards with it. But you know what's funny is I like the flowers, the little blossoms, and that. I don't think I have ever, I've used this set quite a bit, and I don't think I've ever used the peaches. Okay. Okay, now let's go ahead and adhere this on to our envelope flap and cut off the extra. So for those of you who've been watching me for a while, how many of you have started decorating your envelopes? Anyone? Okay, cut off the extra here. Set that aside. Now, what I like about this card is that it's mostly white. Nell says she always does her envelopes. Good for you. I just think it's fun. You know, when you get something like that in the mail, Talina does it. It makes you smile when you see it in the mailbox, you know. So anyway, we've got this white on white with the accent of the evening evergreen. And like always, it's a standard card. So it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, right in the middle. Yes, Talina, never a naked envelope. That's one of our founder for our company says, never a naked envelope. I love it. You hear my voice in your head. You know, I'm really sorry about that, Talina. Not really. I think that's funny. Okay, so I've got this little strip here that I'm just going to glue right about here onto my card front. Right up to the edge. Just like that. And then we have this smaller one. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and do this piece too. Oh, poo. I didn't want to use that side. Oh, man. Okay, hang on. There's still hope. There's hope. Hold on. Okay, I just cut another one, and now no one ever needs to know that I did that. Okay, tore up my paper just a little bit, but that's not a big deal because it's going to be covered up anyway. So let's put that right there, right on the edge. Now I have this other one, and we're going to use our punch again. Only we're only going to trim one edge of it, one end of it. I want to make sure it's centered. I think it's a little bit off center, but that's okay. Oh yeah, now it's stuck in there. Another use for your take your pick tool. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. Put this on the inside of the card, and I'm doing it right up against the edge. Like that. There. And let's see now. Now we have a piece of basic white cardstock, and I'm going to put the glue away. I'm going to use the Evening Evergreen ink and the Soft Succulent ink. Yes, I'm going to use both. Okay, so first I'm going to take the Evening Evergreen. I'm going to take the stamp with the leaves, and hi Kirsten, welcome. Be sure to say hello so that you get entered into the drawing. Kathy, welcome. You missed the really exciting stuff. At the beginning, I announced the winner from last week's video, and it was you. So I will be sending your prize to you. Okay, so there's our leaves. And let's clean up this stamp. Something about the dark green inks, I end up wearing them. I get them everywhere, so I try to clean them up as fast as I can to try to eliminate some of that. Okay, now I used the dies in this set, let me show you, to do these 3 flowers and to do these little flowers. Did I use the little ones? No, I used the bigger ones right here because they have little teeny tiny ones, and there's medium sized ones, and then there's these bigger ones. So I did the big ones and the medium sized ones. And I put them in a little envelope so that I didn't lose them. Okay. I guess we could have done the stamping first, but we'll do this part. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these little flowers. I'm using my Take Your Pick tool just to punch the centers out of the flowers. Usually they come right out when you die cut them, but in this case they didn't. Not a big deal. So now, you know what's a little easier than using the glue, because these are so tiny, the glue is kind of messy. So what I'm going to do is use my glue dots. If I can find where they are on here. They're kind of invisible. Oh, goodness gracious, Phineas. Okay, let's see here. Okay, now I can just peel these right off, and I'm going to stick them in the centers of the 3 flowers. By the way, if you like what you're seeing tonight, I would love it if you would give me some thumbs up or some hearts or share the video. That tells YouTube and Facebook that, hey, this is a good video that more people may want to see, and they get me out there more. So if you could help me in that way, I would love it. You can also follow me here on Facebook. You can also subscribe to my channel on YouTube. And if you subscribe to my channel on YouTube, you get notifications when I am doing another video. I always upload my videos right to YouTube as soon as we're done. Let's see here. So I'm going to put one of the flowers right here. I'm very excited. I've been working really hard on trying to build up a YouTube following. And I just started doing that about 6 months ago, I think. And I am 4 subscribers away from having 100 subscribers. And I know that's nothing compared to some of these YouTube sensations, you know, that our kids all are in love with. But I'm pretty excited about that. So that's my first goal, is to get to that 100. Okay, so I've just put these on the stem where there were little breaks in the pattern for you to put peaches or flowers, and I of course put the flowers. Now what I'm going to do is I've got both inks here, and I have 2 messages. So the first one is happy birthday. So we're going to stamp that first using the soft succulent. And I'm just doing it at the edge here because I don't want to get ink on my other stamp here. I just put them on the same block for convenience. Okay, so let's see. We'll place it right about there. Clean it off. And you do want to make sure it's cleaned off really well, because if there's even a tiny bit of ink or even the water left on your stamp, when you go to do the next part, you'll get like a little shadow of that first one. So make sure you clean it well. Open up the ink pad. Kathy says she's going to watch the video from the beginning on the replay, and you can do that. I love that you joined us for the time that you could, though. Okay, so now I'm taking the Evening Evergreen, and I've got this one that says, Let's Celebrate You. And there we go, right there. And because it's such a fine detail, you can't really see that they're 2 different colors like you can with a bolder stamp. But that gives you the idea. And then we're going to glue this on here. Oops. And we're just going to put it... I've got hair everywhere tonight. I'm shedding, I think. And I'm just kind of lining it up. I want it to be centered left to right, but it doesn't necessarily have to be centered top to bottom. You can see on this one, I had, well, it's crooked for one. I gave it a little more room at the top. The other one, there's a little more room at the bottom. It just depends kind of on where you put this little green piece. Wow, this is pretty well pushed down there, so it's not going to want me to move it a whole lot. But it was crooked, and I couldn't handle that. This little edge is going to stick up, and that's going to bother me. So I'm going to put a little glue there, hold it for a moment. You know what I say, show it who's boss. Okay, so there we go. There is card number 3. And it's matching envelope. Whoops, with the inside. So it's just nice and simple. So let me move some stuff out of the way. We'll take a look at all the cards we made tonight. If you liked what you saw tonight and want to take advantage of some of those stamp sets and dies and accessories that are on sale that are retiring, you can do so at my website, heathersides.stampinup.net, and I would love the opportunity to earn your business. If you place an order under $150, if you would use this host code, I'd really appreciate that. That helps me to get giveaways for like the videos and stuff, but it also helps me to pay for my supplies to be able to keep providing these free classes. If your order is over $150, don't use the code, because you will have some free products coming to you, and I want to make sure that you get them. So that is the April host code at heathersides.stampinup.net. let's take a look at these awesome cards we made. So we've got the Sweet as a Peach card. We're just using a little bit of white and Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent. Put it there like that. We've got Lighthearted Lines. Whoops. Don't grow up, it's a trap. And it is. And then we have our little Happy Birthday Chicken. I love her. So that's what we've got tonight, guys. Oh, thank you, Talina. Talina says she loves the cards. Great ideas. I love hearing all your kind words. So thank you very, very much. I hope you guys have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you back here next Wednesday. Bye-bye.